Hey guys, welcome to the debut episode of Not Again podcast. This is Gary here. Alright, welcome to my show, welcome to my podcast. I'm so glad that you guys found out this podcast. I'm so glad that you guys checked this out. Alright, and yeah, I think first thing first, I would like to tell you guys why do I set this up? Okay, why is it called Not Again podcast? It's this podcast is called Not Again podcast because I had a podcast previously. It's called hashtag The Job Sucks, and it's a major reset to that podcast. It's a major change. It's a major reset. All right, and I think the most appropriate name will be Not Again, right? Because it's I I, I think it's a way to show that you have grown from the last one, and it's a and it means that you kind of know where you're going right now, but you're doing it again. And I don't know. It feels like it feels like you're doing it again, right? And you can't know what you're doing, and it's called Not Again because I find it appropriate. This is like an appropriate name for change. It's like an appropriate name for reset of a certain podcast, and this is what this podcast is really meant to me, right? It's a change. It's a reset, right? It's a podcast that I've refined it from the last one, and I want to do it again. I want to try it out again. I want to try it to prove that I can still do this thing, right? So this is the podcast that I call it Not Again podcast. So in this episode, right, and yeah, so I think it's kind of appropriate to call yourself a Not Again podcast. I kind of to find that it's appropriate to call this podcast Not Again podcast. It's a fun, not again, and you hope that it moves forward. All right, and yeah, so that is why it's called Not Again podcast. This is the podcast where I invite people that I find interesting, and inspiring, or a little bit here and there, a little bit of mix of both options. People that I think that would be fun to talk to, right, for an hour or so. Where, and hopefully you get something done out of your life, right? It's some of them, most of them are artists, some of them are comics, musicians, and hopefully I can get a little bit more, right? In the Singapore scene, right? So this is a podcast that comes out from Singapore, right? And yeah, so that's the whole what the podcast is really about, right? And in this episode, I've caught Sam. Right? I'm not sure whether it's considered appropriate to start with him. All right. I think it'd be fun to start with him because first thing, he was one of the hosts for my last podcast. It's hashtag The Job Sucks. He is the one that I think that would be fun to talk to, right? We talk about that's appropriate at this episode where we talk about change. We talk about changing in life. We talk about whether if we know what we want to do in our life in our 20s, right? I think most of us, I think that people like us in our 20s, going to 30s, we are oftentimes at loss. We don't know what to do with our life, and I think that's okay, right? But it's scary to not know what to do. It's very scary to feel lost, and 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 whenever we grab something that we think that it is the right one, whenever we grab something that grabs something that we feel that it's what we can achieve, right? We just, yeah, so that, and we just don't let go, right? Even if proof to fail, because first thing, we I was taught from young to persist. I was taught from young that, hey, if you like this, you know what you can do to you. You should keep holding on. We should not get, we should not change, and we should keep persisting because there might be diamonds at the end of the rainbow. All right, so I guess that's what we are trying to hope for. Like we'll reach our goal at the end, right? Can we change our goals? We can. Can we change at the end? We can. But I think at one point in life where we just have to tell ourselves that, hey, you know what? The we may not be able to reach the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. We might not be able to reach that. We may have to change our things. Change in life. Things will happen differently. All right. And I think that's the bulk of our conversation. All right. It's to find out that sometimes we have to change our goals. Right. And then it's really scary when you reach at the age of 45. Right. When you're close to your mid-age crisis, right? When you're about 50, you kind of scary to know that you have to change your life. You have to change. It's a scary thing to change, right? It's a very scary thing to change. It's a very that's all I know. All right. I want to be a stand-up comic. I'm still trying to hopefully to get gigs to prove that I am funny enough to be a stand-up comedian, and I'm not sure whether I can do it at the end, or I'm not sure when to quit, and I'm still trying to find out how, and I'm still trying to find out like when is the time that I can get booked, because I really want to prove that I can be that person. All right, I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how should I do it. I'm not sure how to prove that I can be that guy, and I'm not even sure if I am that guy at all. All right, I think we are all just trying to be able to identify ourselves, right? That's all we want to be, right? That's all we want to do now, to find an identity of our own. And yeah, I guess that's what we are trying to do in life. Like, what's my identity? What are we doing in our life, right? And that's what it is, right? To able to group ourselves into one thing, right? To able to feel safe in doing whatever we can do, and yet to reach our goals, right? I guess that's the appropriate thing, right? I don't. Yeah. So like I say, I don't know. Yeah, so this time around, I had a chat with Sam C. Right, he's a fun guy, right? He has been a very close friend of mine, and in the Singapore comedy scene. All right, we had a pretty close family. We are pretty close when it comes to the Singapore comedy scene. We talk to each other a lot. We come roughly know about. I think that have been described in this episode as well, right? We talk about the reason, the different things that happen in the scene. All right, so this is what and it's like an introduction to our local scene, right? For those who are overseas, for those who maybe is a comic who wants to come down in Singapore, you can come hook us up, all right? And try our scene. Yeah, so that's what really about, right? So Sam say he's a fun guy to talk to, right? And I think you guys will have a fun conversation, fun time listening to this conversation, to feel about what he has to feel about the scene as well. Oh yeah, before this, okay, this podcast, when we recorded it, it's not up to it's not recorded on the day it's published, right? It's all backlog, so yeah, sometimes it may not be relevant. If it's not as relevant, some things may happen before the podcast, before the conversation is already out, right? So just a note for you guys. All right, so yeah, so listen to this episode with me talking to Sam C at Not Again Podcast. All right, check this out and enjoy. I don't know. It kind of like
we don't have to turn it into like like those food Instagram. Oh god. Hey, check out this Dunbury, my 10,000 followers. 10,000 followers. Why do I only have 45 likes? Yeah, fucking buyer.
Can
goddamn likes.
Hey, if that gets me likes, I don't mind. I
No,
don't.
but it doesn't get you likes. It just gets you followers. Like I have not bought a single Instagram and Twitter follower, and it shows.
Hey, that's I don't know. I've been realized that I kind of want to cross the line where I should stop getting bitter. I really
You want to be a nice person? You want to be nice through and through? Gary Tan. Oh, the fairy godmother comes down. You will be cured of all your evil. Just, don't hate the racist comedians. And admit, Deepak, it's funnier than you. And all your bitterness will go away.
Hey, I think that's why Deepak is funnier than me. Because
Oh, he's bitter as fuck as well.
he's not bitter.
He's bitter about his job, which pays him way too much, which is like, you do not have any right to be bitter, you son of a bitch.
But I don't know. But it's not bitter in
Yeah,
the sense
because he enjoys life. He genuinely enjoys life
Yeah.
because he doesn't have depression, the fucker. He doesn't have mental illnesses.
I don't have depression too.
Yeah, but you clearly have some mental fucking illness. I don't know what it is. We need to go get tested. I don't know if it's some sort of personality borderline. I don't know if it's more mental, whatever it is.
I've tried going to the therapy that you told me.
Yeah. Counseling and care
Yeah.
center. How did it go?
It told me to wait. I'm
Yeah,
like,
the thing is, as in wait for the therapy session or
I'll
like,
wait for a session.
when did you go?
I've registered during like mid-November.
Yeah, because you're near the end of the year.
Yeah,
I had
you have to
like
clear.
I have to wait for a while for my
And
sessions.
it's my first time doing it. So it
Yes,
makes me
yeah.
second guess.
No, it's just wrong time of the year.
Yeah.
Because even
I
I have
get
to
it.
wait.
And
Yeah, I know it's not the best, and it's also like the thing of therapy. Like I've said before, check back to Your Job Sucks episode on therapists, true believers. It takes a few times to do it. So the first time you go, it might be a bit. By the fifth time, you would kind of.
no, but the waiting time it gets very uneasy.
I know. It's just. I mean, it's just genuinely bad time of the year, man. That's
I get it.
That's
But-
like going.
but-
I can't believe the flights to China are so expensive during this Chinese New Year. What's up with that? This
But-
is bullshit, China.
How okay, look, but I think it's a different kind of energy though. It's like while you're waiting for the next therapy session,
Yeah.
or while you're waiting for your first therapy session, you have to fill up a form
Yeah.
to say, hey, is it okay?
Yeah, if we are there
why do you think that you need a therapy session?
Yeah.
And I've submitted something like, I'm not sure whether I need this, but I don't think I'm feeling, I don't think I'm feeling happy. There's no peak when it comes to when it comes to my emotions. But
Yeah,
there's always flat line.
Yeah.
And when they call me back, they say, hey, dude, I can only set you out a session on the January on the late January, and I'm like, and it's mid-November. I'm like, and I'm like, and I go, you know what, I don't need this. My case is not.
Yeah,
My case is not.
They're not prioritizing you as much because I say it's
Yeah.
end of the year, so there's more.
Yeah.
And then when it's like they're going to prioritize if it's like someone that's going to kill themselves. If it's just someone that wants to go for general therapy, which I've always encouraged, they're going to like be like, okay, we're going to put you behind because we are leaving. Like, there's a thing where they say like, oh, more people kill themselves during Christmas, and I only recently realized that's not true. It's actually after Christmas, because during Christmas time you're with friends, you have the security. Once you leave that security, the depression comes back in, so people are more likely to kill themselves in January and February. So January and February are actually it's like hey, it's out of the year. Oh, a new rope. Where did this come from?
Hey, but it'd be funny
No
if you
Year's
just do it
resolution.
after Valentine's Day.
No, New Year's
And you have,
resolution.
like-
Don't make it to the end of the new year.
You have 1 week. The 1 week is for you to consider.
Yeah.
should I kill myself or should I not?
You get to lemon law your suicide. I think that's only fair, right? Like, no, I think I'd rather go on a hail of bullets. Gary.
No, but Singapore don't allow guns. Is this the MRT okay?
Oh,
No.
well, here I
No,
come,
train.
Syria. Hi, diddly dee, Aleppo like for me.
I just wonder
Maybe
what
by the time
happens
this podcast comes out, like Syria will be solved. And also maybe pigs are gonna fucking fly. Sorry, Syria.
but I just wonder, if you join like the terrorist organization because you want to kill yourself, is that like a proper reason to join?
Like, this guy, he just keeps wanting to become the suicide bomber. I'm like, do you want to do this for a higher purpose? He's just going, I don't feel very good today. Like everyone here is listening to all of the prayers. He's just listening to My Chemical Romance. What the fuck? Like everyone is putting on war paint. He's putting on eyeliner. The shit is this fuck.
Come on. That's
there is a dress code here in this terrorist organization. It is to put on fear in the hearts of our enemies, not Hot Topic. The fuck is this shit? I did not leave medical school for this shit. See, the best part about that whole thing is they're trying to make it not so obvious and not that like racist at the same time. It's like, you know you want to say something about Islam, but you don't really want to go there.
I don't know. I'm not sure whether I've reached to a point where I want to talk about everything and anything at all.
What?
No.
You don't talk about anything or everything at all. Like, so you're just going to go on stage and say fucking nothing?
I don't. I mean, I do want to talk about things that's less I've not done any political bits at all.
Yeah.
And it's all about me.
That's okay, man. I mean, have you seen Mark Maron?
But yeah, I don't know. But after going up on stage, it feels like a little bit selfish. Like
No. I think comics can find a way they can talk about nothing but themselves. I'm impressed by it because I'm like, wow, because my life's fucking boring. You guys are cool and amazing, and I'm like desperately trying to squeeze out another Super Mario Brothers joke.
But and if you've got charisma, you can do it. You can do it, right? But if you can't do it, you get very depressed.
I have no goddamn charisma.
but you can get like very depressed doing it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Because you're very introspective, so you have to focus on your emotions even more. I would feel so. I think that's like I've been trying for years to get the depression set going, and it's so hard. And right now I'm with at the start it was going to be more of a monologue-esque talky thing, but then I realized I didn't have the charisma nor the audience belief that I could carry it out. So now I'm just doing short, quick punchlines of it.
Yeah.
Still not quite working, but I'm hoping to figure it out one day. But it's not my style. Introspective was never my style.
I think that you're okay, but you are very. It feels very weird to look at you talking about stuff that's very introspective.
Yeah, because my style is very international, and I'm insulting you. Haha. By the way, guys, let's talk about feelings. Like that doesn't make any sense.
No, you're too friendly. I think you're too friendly to talk about introspective.
Friendly. No one's has ever described my stage presence as friendly.
Hey, you smile on stage.
Yeah, I smile and then I call them whores. I'm not exactly the friendliest.
You're a friendly bitchy guy. You're
a friendly bitchy guy.
How
are you doing, you cunts? How are you doing, you whores?
Hello, here's my top hat.
Tip of the hat. It's a bigger tip than your tip. See, that's all I do. I'm shit, sir. I'm the nice asshole. I'm bleached.
Yeah, it feels like you are a little bit. You are friendly on stage.
Yeah, but what do you feel about like your own self on stage? Because I feel when I see you on stage, off stage you're like the nice guy, but on stage it seems like such a combined mess of I don't know if I'm supposed to be angry or happy, or am I enjoying myself, or am I hating this moment on stage? I can't read you as an audience member. It's just like what the fuck is this?
I don't know. I think going on stage is like, I don't know. Is it okay to say it's like therapy?
Yeah, I would say it depends on the material. I think it's just like I wouldn't say it is therapy. I would say it's therapeutic.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah.
So
because you don't really get. I mean, depending on the style of comedy you do, sometimes you don't get to talk about your problems. Like for example, loving his name, John Robertson's "Let's Redecorate," which is talking about his best friend committing suicide. I think that is therapy and therapeutic. But let's say a Tim Vine hour, that's more therapeutic than therapy.
You can't watch Dimitri Martin and go, hey, look, this is how you feel inside.
Yeah, that's therapy and therapeutic. So it's like depending on the same thing with Simon Amstel, it's therapy and therapeutic. But I think most comedy is just therapeutic, less therapy. Not because it's like bad or good. It's just like some people are just better at that style of humor.
I think most of us, it feels like we all want. Most of us do want to emulate put ourselves out there, but most of us don't really know how to.
Yeah,
or at least most of us are still finding figure.
Especially for Singapore, where we are told to not show emotions.
Yeah,
so it's like a very even I'm still learning how to openly talk about depression and a suicide attempt. Because second, I bring it up, I can lose that. I've lost counts more by saying I'm depressed than when I do my nigger versus faggot bit or my or any other bit, and I've just proven to your audience, I can be really offensive on stage. Talking about depression and suicide loses an audience faster than anything else, and I'm like, how? I just admitted to sucking a priest's dick on stage. How on earth are they not on board with so I cut myself?
I think they are not ready to accept it yet, and
It's real.
yeah, but it's because it's too personal. You don't know whether to laugh at. It's like I'm not sure who's mentioned this, but
Yeah.
the post on Facebook online, the Republican.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
there was a whole incident where one of the organizers in Singapore found out that one of the open micers was Republican and voted for Trump and made a joke like, "Oh, should we ban him?" Like, well, since they're going to ban the Mexicans, we might as well ban him. And that turned into a full blown like, that organizer was called a racist and was like another organizer said never go to any of this organizer's events because he's a racist.
But he isn't. However, it's too personal, and you know that person.
Yeah, it's
So
just,
so it feels like is he telling a
weird.
joke or is he like
Yeah.
not telling a joke?
And the person that called him out is a known drunk, so it is hard to know whether he mean it or was he drunk.
Yeah.
Hey, people in the Singapore scene, can you guess which organizer that is? A known alcoholic and drunk. Wonder who it could be. Clearly, it's Jinx Hill. Yeah, that's what happened to Comedy Kampong. He just drank all those funds away.
He just drink half a pint, like half a pint of.
How a pint of absinthe because he's an alcoholic. He says it's tiger beer. No, it's tiger alcohol. It's brewed in the belly of a tiger. Jinx Hill, alcoholic. You heard it here first, folks.
Hey, it's tiger because it's made in Malaysia. But because the national animal mascot for.
Oh yeah, it is. No, because I got even confused because I thought it was like the mouse deer, and I realized, oh wait, that's Malacca.
So the.
Why does Malacca have its own national animal? Why is it so special?
Malacca was, before Malacca was not part of.
I have no fucking clue, man.
It's like Malacca and Penang. It's like in the world of their own.
Then there's also the East Malaysia, and they are another bunch of. Do you know what's it? I think it was Kuching. They called themselves like the Garden City, and then Singapore went, wait a fucking minute. I've seen that shit somewhere before, son. What are you going to have next year for your anniversary, Kuching? SG50 fuckers? Sons of a
It's
bitch.
called Kuching 50, right?
Yeah, Kuching. KT50.
Or K50.
I think that's the name of a bullet or a drug. Oh, shot.
Hey,
Hey,
do you have
bartender, give me a
K50?
K50. Tablet or solid or liquid form?
Powder form, please. Powder form.
Powdered form. Would you like to add some hot water to make a bit of a tea? New from Lipton, K50. It's okay for 50 years old and up. It's good for the piles. Yeah, that's what we need to sell on the street. It's a drug that makes you shit.
That's a drug that's good for old people.
Yeah.
Like K50.
Yeah, we got a huge drug problem in the old folks' homes. All these old people, I can't find the vein.
So please give me K50. Okay.
I want heroin. I want heroin.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that being depression and suicide, it's far too. It's far
We
too.
just went from old folks' homes and drugs to suicide.
I don't know. It's a terrible thing.
to talk about.
Yeah.
I want heroin.
Yeah, but yeah. So I don't think it's too personal to be real. To be.
I think it's maybe I just gotta find a better way of introducing the subject, or like warming the audience up, or having something in front of that is as personal but not as harsh. But
I don't know.
my first relationship. Man.
Have I done suicidal jokes? I think I have a few suicidal jokes, like jokes about suicide.
Your set seems suicidal, but I don't.
It's like dive down. I don't. It feels like when I go up on stage and I do my stuff, everyone got so afraid. Like there's an awkward.
Everyone's confused because they don't know what kind of comic you are. Like, even though they don't know comedy, they know where to laugh, where the beats are. But for you, they are very confused because it seems very autobiographical at times. It feels more of a personal talk, and then sometimes it seems like clearly here's the joke and here's the setup and here's the punchline, and they're like, what the hell is going on? There's no clean introduction to Gary Tan, the comedian. Like when you first get on the stage, sometimes you just stand there, there's a joke, it doesn't work, and then you go like, okay, you guys don't get that. Fine. You said it was fine, okay. And I'm like, are you angry at them or are you making fun of yourself? Like, I don't know what tone you're taking, so it's not clear.
It also has to depend on the time.
Because you're bitter, and if you tell Deepak he's funnier than you, all of it will go away.
Deepak is funnier than
And you win Magnus International Comedy Competition.
Hey, I'm not sure that I'm still able to win Magnus International Comedy
If
Festival.
there's one more next year, I'm gonna be shocked. Like, really, you assholes won a fourth one after the. Like, I've never seen I've never seen something go from bad to worse as badly as the Magnus did.
But what happened? I mean, what really happened inside?
Stupidity. Poor organization, Cole Potter and Matt Bennett being greedy and too greedy and too egotistical for anyone. For their own good, honestly. I mean, greed and ego is good for like producers and showrunners, but too much, you turn into those two idiots.
I don't know, but I think ego pushed to a show to a certain level,
Yeah.
and then
I don't know if I just really don't understand what happened there, and like
because I've never been like to the insides of Magnus International Comedy Festival. The only one that I'm involved in is here's a light that you asked Joanna.
Yeah, it was very messy. From the first year was honestly the best run year. It was a bit like they had too many shows and too many venues, but it was still very decent. Second year they reduced the numbers, but there was a lot of like fuckery backstage, and there was a lot of fuckery in the Manila's leg and the Singapore leg especially, where they were so overconfident they didn't even bother to sort of promote ticket sales, and all of the shows were undersold here in Singapore, like severely undersold. And then the third year, Laughing Horse pulled out because they were like, well, fuck you, you guys didn't pay us that well and you didn't put a good show on, so we're out. And it was just a mess because it was just Matt Bennett and Cole Potter, who combined have run 0 comedy shows in Singapore over the last 3 years. So it was a mess.
And I think that running a comedy show is, you want to say it's easy?
It's not. It's fucking difficult.
It's not that easy.
Running a show, promoting a show.
Promoting a show is a hard part.
Yeah.
Because I've tried promoting.
I know the other show which shares you. Like, how did you promote it? You just put it online. You just put it on your Facebook, right? That was it.
I've tried to post it out on Facebook. I've on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
But that's only your feeds. You don't advertise it. You don't pay for Facebook advertising. You didn't pay for Facebook advertising. You didn't flyer.
I'm not
you didn't
sure.
post to groups. Well, that's the thing. You just create a group, a fan page, and then just advertise. Because if not, you're only hitting your sort of like friends, and most of your friends have seen all these guys before.
No, not really.
Because
the guys that came over, is in that there are friends who brought friends and friends who brought like. There are friends who brought like 3 or 4 friends over, and they are way late. So, but the show, if we stay and keep on doing it, there'll be like 4, 5, 6, about 10 people.
you just do it. I mean,
And they're very late, which at the point of time we before
just gave up. Yeah, I understand.
And I realize that running a show is difficult.
Yeah,
It's
it's mentally taxing to be the producer for a show because, like, example of something as small as Talk Call, which I've been doing for like 3 years now, and I should know it by the back of my hand, but I'm like, every other week there's some bullshit I don't see coming.
It's because it's very, how should I say, I've tried helping out in Talk Call before, like a lot of times, and running a show is not easy, right? There's a lot of like. I wouldn't say it's really back end because I've never done the admin side. The Talk wise, I've done the door. I've done the lights as well.
Yeah.
Jonathan has helped me, like telling, hey, you know what? You can switch off these lights. You can switch off that light. You can use the mic and test the mic, sound check. And
Yeah, there's a lot of things you need to like pay attention to, and that's just like this like that's just the front of end stuff. Back and end stuff, you're thinking on like audience seating, pricing, repeat audiences, repeat comedians, posters, redesigns, locations, other things happening in that venue, especially for Blue Jazz, where they have like another night. Who do we have? What can we do? What other shows are there that week that someone's putting on? I can't have a headliner. Have a headliner on Wednesday and Thursday, and then he's headlining another show on Friday, or headline on Tuesday. It hurts our sales. So it's like so much bullshit to think about. It's a bit of psychology and improvisation at the same time. When you like, there's all like the back end of it, but when you add there the venue itself, it's of improvised. Like, okay, you got 10 people, get them a chair. Where do you put them? Who do they look like? What do they want to hear? What do they want to see? Okay, that's the case. I'll inform the host. Okay, we might have to change the lineup. This open micer brought 10 people or 20 people. That happens once in a while. We can't have them go third or fourth. That means they can leave in the first half. We have to put them in the second half, possibly second last. I mean, yeah, it does suck that just because a comic has more friends, they get a better position. I'd be pissed as a comic, and I am pissed as a comic that happens. But show comes first. The show is more important than the needs of one. Than the needs of one's ego.
I think that being in the scene itself, you realize that the ego isn't like.
We have a lovely ego in Singapore. Everyone's quite chill.
I get, yeah, everyone has because it's a very small scene. We are together, and you have seen like the ego of Quail Porter, and although it's not a comic.
And you see the ego of the other comedy scenes in Asia. There's some which I will not name because they're probably going to hear it, but you all know who you are. Yeah. The egos are through the motherfucking roof. And it gets messy. It gets really messy. In Singapore, egos are well-tempered. If anyone gets a bit too big for their britches, everyone else will just talk to them and go like, hey, you just calm down a bit. And they're not going to go, how dare you? They're like, yeah, okay, understand. I asked you to tell me if I get too big. And it's family. It's family.
And everyone does keep in check with their ego.
Yeah.
And everyone knows. Everyone.
Knows.
Okay, may not be as well as, may not like super close, but still know well enough.
We care enough about each other.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're like family. Like we're like an older family. Like we don't see each other for that often, but when we do, we make sure we're all fine. We do care deep inside. And also the Singapore scene, like you don't get to kill that many gigs in a row. You can kill that many, but then you're gonna have a death eventually because it's Singapore. Or you're gonna have a set where your best joke just doesn't work and you just get thrown for a loop. Like, what the fuck? And it happens all the time here. So I'm like, okay, no wonder everyone's ego is in check. It's just such a battleground of a country.
It's I don't. It feels like people doesn't want to laugh here sometimes.
No, they don't. I know that. They I feel a lot of Singaporeans, and this is, pardon me if this is generalizing, but certain audiences that come in who are Singaporean, I feel come in expecting one kind of humor, and when they get something else, instead of enjoying it, they feel upset by it. They feel like they've been tricked in some way, and they just clam up, and I just get a bit annoyed with that because I'm like, well, you've paid the money, why not just enjoy your night? Like, it's not gonna be like, clearly this is a different, every show is different, every promoter here runs a different kind of show. You can't just go to one show and then go to another show and go, hey, that wasn't like this show or that show. And I'm like, it's different. Every show is different in its own way.
I think everyone have an impression or have an expectation of what certain art is. I think that being like putting out there, like what you really feel about like what you really feel inside as a comic. You go out on stage.
It's very raw.
It's very raw, and you do a documentary about that. It's gonna be bland. It's gonna be very bland.
But then there's like the BBC documentary on comedians. There's like a number of them, and most of them are pretty excellent because they ask different kinds of comics. It's not like just, oh, here are the crowd pleasers, here are the old ones, here are the young ones. It's a nice mix of all available types of comics.
But you must remember, BBC has a very established. When it comes to documentary, and the UK has a very established scene in comedy. There's a lot of difference. There's a lot of different angle to go when it comes to comedy show. So I think that, and they are very exposed, like the Edinburgh.
Yeah, Edinburgh Fringe and all that.
Edinburgh Fringe, there's like free fringe, and you can do lots of stuff, right? And I think UK has a very different, has exposed themselves so much with stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And you have back to local where they expected like one kind of stand-up comedy.
Yeah, which is the issue right now. That's why I feel Singapore is like so such a hard crowd, because they only expect one kind of comedy, and I'm sorry to say, it's race-based. It's very racist, I would say, because a lot of it isn't clever or smart. It is very simply, you say "apung nenek," and a Singaporean crowd just pearls into tears, which is, I mean, it's not along the same line as the word nigger, but it's the same connotation as a slur against a race. Like, I'm not going to introduce racist apung nenek on stage, because that's just fucking mean. In the same way, I don't want him to introduce me as like a faggot if it's out of nowhere. Like, there's no connotation, but that's the comedy I see nowadays with the more popular people. And it's like there's a nice new wave of stand-up comedians and comedy in Singapore as well, not just comedians. I mean, on YouTube there's like a nice like growth with Muna and Herzui and the Ministry of Funny, where they're taking much better, much smarter, and much reform. And it's so sad to say that, like, I'm not saying that they're not smart, but it's like they are having on this level, and that is considered too smart for Singaporeans. That their level of humor is too clever. And I'm like, you guys are really looking down upon Singaporeans, because I feel media-wise, we look down at Singaporeans as idiots. They're not idiots, they just haven't had a chance to see better stuff. But everyone has such a lack of faith in their own country that they're not willing to try these kind of new things, try new ideas.
This is one show that's being done with Inch that she hosted, like on one episode on during CNA.
Chinese Asia?
Yeah, Chinese Asia. There's one where it was being mentioned that if local musician doesn't work out overseas, they're not worth checking out.
Yeah, and I'm like,
which is like, yeah, but if you don't support the local scene, who would?
yeah, it's that weird thing where Singapore has so much pride and disdain for itself at the same time. Like Singapore is just like, wow, Singapore, we're proud of it. But anytime you try to bring up like trying something new, or like especially the arts, are like, no, it can't work here. This country's too shit for it. I'm like, so what? Do you love your country? Do you hate your country? Let's make it clear. It's okay to love your country and hate it at the same time. But if you have so much pride of it, you would want to stay here and make things work. And I mean, thankfully now we've got like a nice bunch of like artists that are showing it. Like you have chefs, painters, singers, and actors, young ones who are like, they're not going anywhere. They're staying here and going, no, fuck you. We're going to make it here. We're going to prove to you that we can make things work in Singapore.
But you want to make things work in Singapore, yes. But I think that it can be a very uphill task.
Oh, no, it is. Definitely.
It's a super uphill task to even. It's crazy to even think that things can work here.
Yeah, but hey, that's how any good artistic endeavor starts. It's everyone laughs in your face at your idea, and then eventually there will be the ones that say, I was along the idea the whole time. I was with him every step of the way. Those are the ones that were laughing in your face at the start. Think about it. Hey, let's have a band with brothers and sisters. We're gonna call them something silly like the Sam Willows, and they're gonna be able to sell out a stadium here. Yeah, insane. Or what about a guy who calls himself Gentle Bones and he's only 22? He's gonna be able to sell out a stadium here. Yeah, you fucking idiots. Look at where they are now. Fucking top of their game. Good for them.
I think that you need to have enough. I don't know. This is one thing that I'm not really sure. Is it because I've seen a lot of like YouTube. I hate to say this, but it can be. I've seen like YouTube like the Wild Banana.
Yeah.
And night hour cinematics.
Yeah.
And it feels like you have to be good looking to.
Well, yeah, that's entertainment as itself. That's not just Singapore. In any entertainment line, there's always been, if you're good looking and you got money, you're already 4 out of the 3 steps of the way there. You're already ahead of the curve, man.
Yeah.
You're good looking, and it's like about, I've always said, as fast you rise, as fast you fall. And those guys that do it for like good looking and fame, I'm like, where's Wild Banana now? They're nowhere. 9 hour cinematics, they came out way too quickly and dropped way too fast as well.
Are they still dropping? Because I still see them like
No, they're still there.
floating around
They're
once in
floating,
a
but
while.
it's like they're not as prominent as they used to be. Even Jian Hao, who has his like band of followers, It's not as big as it used to because they all grew up and realized, oh, this guy's just not that fucking funny.
I think
And as much as I criticize Deekosh and I don't think he is that good of an entertainer, he is smart enough to improve himself and get more avenues and sort of reinvent how he approaches his approach to media and approach to being seen as a personality.
I think we want to be we want to be seen.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. It feels like sometimes you have to be a little bit. You cannot put ourselves as too smart.
Yeah.
But you can't kill yourself being like the dumb guy all the time.
As in you can't sort of like over promote yourself, but you can't under promote yourself as well. It has to be a nice medium. Like I'm currently thinking like with what I do and more since I do more crowd work and stuff, I want to kind of like start pushing myself. Like that's the marketing wise, it's more of like a bad like a heel. I want to push myself more of a heel. Like I'm the mean guy of the Singapore scene. I'm the bastard son in that sense. I'm like just gonna come over there and just kind of, hey, how are you assholes doing, and curse you out. Like I mean, it's not the best public image for myself as Steve, but it's an image to have because everyone in Singapore when you promote yourself, everyone's like squeaky clean, he's good or he's silly or he's wacky. No one comes in as, hey, he's bad, he's evil, he's downright scum. And I'm like, I'll take that. I'll take it. If no one's gonna take that line, I'll do it.
Hey, everybody got to take one line, right?
Yeah.
Everybody got to like.
Yeah, and
You need something to identify yourself.
yeah, and if everyone wants to take the squeaky clean, good looking, I'm just gonna come in with the nerdy bastard. Like, hey, what's up? Like, I may not have looks, but I've got smarts. I got smarts and an IQ above 4. Which of you asses can say that?
I don't. Fast got the loud Malay guy.
Loud? I wouldn't say he's a loud. He's a young. I think he's a young. I'm trying to phrase this as well as I can. He's sort of the new generation of the Malay culture in Singapore.
Who has a voice of his own.
He has a voice of his own. He grew up also with not just stuck in Asia, but also seen a lot of Western culture. So it's a nice blend of that. I think he is going to be very soon a voice of a generation. I would not be surprised. Rishi is also a voice of a generation, but his is a generation slightly older than Fuzz, although they're only a few years apart. Because of just the way they carry themselves, that's all it is. So weird, like the new young voice of generation is a guy that's 30. What the fuck?
The guy that's
No offense, Fuzz, but like a young voice of generation, I'm like 20. I'm thinking like the 27 club. Not a bald 30-year-old guy. Sorry, Fuzz. Love you.
He's old enough to survive. Okay,
Old
I'm
enough to
sorry.
survive what, rickets?
Yeah, kind of.
I've never seen a comedian come out with his colostomy bag.
He wouldn't die at the age of 27 because it's over 27.
He made it somehow. Through that rock and roll lifestyle of a stuntman. Yeah, he is like of anyone in the comedy scene. Like he and Rishi have like the coolest backstories. Like if I was doing a documentary, like those two have a cool fucking backstory. Fuzz especially. Fuzz is one of, like that is a rags to riches situation.
You're the guy that is involved in every podcast I do. Every podcast
I'm involved with the majority of things in the comedy scene. Like so if like even if we talk about anything comedy related or just talking about the past in Singapore, like I'm there as long as you are, so I know a lot of stuff that happened.
I don't know, but I'm not as involved as you.
Yeah, because you have a day job. And I'm also antisocial. I only hang out with comedians and homosexuals. It's just there's no one else on the outside.
I've been hang out with I've hang out with the comics. There are some comics that I love to hang out with.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit more, and I think a little bit more antisocial.
But you have your own outside friend circle to the comedy scene, right?
I try to hang out with them.
Because it's like
every half a year.
My friend circle is like my friend circle outside the comedy scene is a little bit involved in entertainment once in a while. So it's like this weird thing where it's kind of melds together, and I don't have really any outside friends. I don't have any like straight non-comedians, and not because I'm not trying to make any of them, but just with the amount of work I do and the amount I want to talk to people, I'm not gonna meet anyone new. I don't like talking to humans. I'm just weird that way. I don't hate them. I'm just like, I don't know you. I cannot associate a 9 to 5, what EPL, I went to college and I got this degree and then I'm working at this. I can't understand that. I just can't.
I think
It's weird.
that's why my day job helped me a little bit, like knowing like how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just in the party I'm not able to interact with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Except the comics, most probably, and a little bit of the professors from Joanna's side.
Yeah.
So I mean I can talk to them.
Because let's be honest, most of them are mature and smart. I think a lot of Singaporeans our ages, and I'm going to be on like with our age range, most of them don't know what the fuck they're going to do. I mean, how many Singaporeans you know? Like,
No,
top of
as
your
in,
head?
I think they know what to do, but it's just that limited amount of range.
Yeah, no, it's a genuine thing. Like, how many people do you know Singaporeans have degrees but are now doing a job that is in no way related to their degree? I'm glad to say that I know no one who has a degree and is doing something with that degree that is similar. It's everyone is just okay. We'll get the degree. We'll need to study. We'll work very hard. We'll get the 4.1 GPA. We'll get the degree, and then what? What do you want to do in life next? That was my issue in the army. I was asking everyone, what the fuck you want to do in life? And they couldn't answer me. And I'm like, you guys are idiots. You guys have no idea what you want to do. You are fools.
I think that people, it's been clamped down like to the idea of like, hey, there's one guy from my father's friend. His child just passed the primary school leaving exam, like PSLE.
That's good.
And that's why I've asked that his parents, his mother was there. So his mother asked him, like, hey, and have a discussion, like saying, hey, what can you do with your life when your results are not great?
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not great, right? So we are discussing, and I told him, hey, you know what? Enjoy your school life, expose yourself to as much as possible, and don't really like have too much ideas like, hey, I want to do a 9 to 5 job. It's okay to have a 9 to 5 job. And my mom was there, and his mother was there. They're a little bit horrified by what I've told him, and he looked at his mom and go, yeah, it's kind of true, right? Saying that
There is nothing wrong with a 9 to 5 job. If that's what you want to do in life and you're happy with it, that's good. But you have to realize and figure that out earlier on in your 20s. Like I would say in your early 20s, you should be able to figure out what you want to do in your life. In your late 20s, start cementing it and making sure you get there by 30. Because most Singaporeans, I realize, by the time they're 35, they still don't know what they're doing, and they already have 2 kids and a failed marriage. And it's like, you got a flat you don't want and a job you hate, and you're wondering where it all went wrong. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you spend your 20s doing nothing. You spend your 20s just hanging out with, like, I'm starting to sound like an old person, but I just hanging out with friends and clubbing and playing games and then just spending your money on nothing. And you don't really think about the bigger questions in life. You don't sit down and spend time to be introspective and have that self-awareness of time and age. They don't dream, they don't think, and it's like, it's a deficit.
I think that it's alright to not dream, because look, I've mentioned on stage that I want to do stand up, not just a hobby. I try to convince myself it's a hobby, but I really want to do it as a career, right? I just stumble into stand up, right? I don't know what to do. What else to like? I've stumbled into it. If I don't stumble into it, I don't know what I would do.
I think it's a little bit of settling as well. Like I had a friend who wanted to be do art related stuff, and he went into it and he studied everything and realized, oh, I'm not that good of an artist. I'm not that good at that drawing stuff. But then he realized he's really good at writing up stuff for museums, and he loves that. And I'm like, well, there you go. I mean, yeah, you didn't get the primary goal, but you got the secondary objective. That's pretty fucking good. At least you completed some of part of the main objective, because a lot of people still haven't left the tutorial level yet in this country.
And I think that because he realized that you can change your course, right? People want to change. It's hard to change.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, if you change your course, it's too late. You have wasted. Yeah, would you rather waste 2 years of your life than the rest of your life doing a course that you didn't want to do or something you didn't want to do in the first place? If you can say with passion, with sure conviction that yes, if I change this course, I will be passionate about it and I will strive to do my best. And even if I'm not the best, I will do what I can and make things work because this is the path I want to take in life. That's fine. I feel there's a thing in Singapore. It's like there's only one path, and that's the path of success. If you don't take the path of success, you have nothing but ultimate failure and toilet cleaner and garbage man. And like, no, it's not success failure. There's a lot in between.
I think that the idea of a lot in between is scary because it's like
yeah, definitely.
you're walking on a path, and like if you don't do that, you will die, you will fail, and to fail.
Yeah,
it's scary.
Dishonor to family. Yeah,
I don't think it's not just dishonor, but what about your future?
Yeah, I know they always assume that one failure means that's the end of the world, and I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Look at your parents. They failed in life clearly, and they are fine. They are doing good. They've got decent jobs. Failure is the stepping stone to success. You don't just do everything in life and be successful at everything. That's impossible.
If you never
Show me a man that's always perfect, and I'll tell you, okay, he's rich, but he's got money to hide the failures. But he still failed. He still failed, but he hit him. Look at what's her name? What's the name of the singer, the female singer that sings all these sad, depressing? Lana Del Rey. She had her first album. It was terrible. Her parents were like oil magnates, so they just used all the money to buy up all the albums to say it sold out. But it didn't sell out. It was a failure. But she could hide her failure. Yes, you didn't see it, but she still failed. People fail all the time. That's part of life. Don't be afraid of it. I'm saying not to don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. It's okay to fear failure. I fear it all the time, but just accept it.
I think the idea of failure is scary as well because it's in Singapore it's being pushed by the idea of finance, right? You if you fail at the age of 28, what are you going to do with your life right now? If you change your course of life, what are you going to do with your life right now? You have a family, you're getting married, and
well, that's up to them to have the rationality to find out a way. You can't just go 28. It's too late. You're never going to make it. Then you're already defeating even before you started. It's like it is harder. Doesn't mean it's impossible. Doesn't mean that it's a sheer failure. It's about the steps you take, and sometimes the steps you take, even if they're the best course of actions, might not get you anywhere. Vice versa. If you take the worst steps, it might get you to success. Who knows? It's just how life works, and you have to take risk at times. But would you rather take a risk, fail, and then keep trying and hopefully one day have something you're happy with, or never try anything and then just end up bitter about everything?
But you still have
bitter.
a house to get bitter in.
It's the thing is like, if I'm bitter, at least I'm better in a house. But it's like it's what you as a human being are willing to. Can you live with yourself at the end of the day? Some people can, some people can't. It's up to the person.
I think that's why we keep thinking about what do we really want in our life, which is really scary to us.
Tits.
I do want tits.
I want tits too. I want tits on myself. Yeah. No. I think at the end of the day, if we know what we want, we should just chase it. And
but how? Like when do we know when to quit? When do we know? This is a question that I've always asked. Like
when do you quit?
When do you quit? When do you know the price is too high for you?
That is something every person will answer themselves. There's no right or wrong answer. They have to constantly be introspective, especially when you chase something that's more difficult, and really question, is this worth the price of attrition? It's a math game. You have to think about it not math game, like a game theory. It's like you have to sort of calculate and sort of weigh out risk to reward, and then even if the odds are bad and you still want to go for it because you're convinced or something, some people say you are confident, some people say you're delusional.
But it's like a game of poker, right?
Yeah.
It's like a game of poker, right?
Yeah.
Where you have sometimes you feel like you've invested too much money to quit.
Yeah.
And
you just keep pushing.
You just keep pushing.
It's a thing of like, I would honestly say honestly sometimes it depends on the outcome. Because if you risked all your money on a venture and it didn't work, they're going to say you are foolish, you're an idiot, you have no brains. But if it worked, you are a genius, you are innovative. And it's like, well, it's a success-failure ratio. So it doesn't really matter whether the plan is insane or not, whether it's success or fail. That's all that matters. It's the success or the fail of it. And it's like a failure doesn't mean that's the end of the line. Like I said, it's like that means, okay, this one didn't work. Why don't you just try the other path you didn't take the last time? Maybe that will lead to success. May not, but hey, who knows? I can't tell you when to give up or when to keep trying, but I know I haven't given up and I keep going. I have not stopped.
I think that not stopping, it's one thing. It's like the podcast, right? This is what.
Yeah, we're going to stop this podcast because we've been.
Yeah, we can stop somehow.
Good night. Let's slow it. Yeah, let's do the last thing.
Yes, let's do it. This is the last thing. This is like, because we're talking about stopping, right? The last podcast, your hashtag your job sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether I'm not sure is it the reason. I'm not sure is it considered like I stopped the podcast.
Was it on hiatus?
Is it on hiatus, or is it like this is considered the major reset of the podcast itself?
It's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not the path you take; it's what you end up with. You can say that all three, and all three are true at the same time. It depends on what you want it to be, what you claim it as. If I say that I let's say I went on, let's say the TV show I'm on, and I get fired, I can say I failed, that I couldn't live up to the thing, or I can say I succeeded, that I proved that I can actually be on TV for this long. I didn't make it all the way to the end, but I was never going to. There's so many ways you can see it, and it's all about perspective and knowing when something is a positive way of looking at something and when something is a delusional take on an outcome. And whenever you stop something, it's not the end, it's just a pause. You can continue anytime you want. There's no such thing as that if you say stop, it can never continue.
It feels like sometimes things can change form.
Of course.
And you're not sure whether changing the form itself, it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. But you just know that it changed form. Just things got changed.
Change is terrifying, but it's necessary. Change is always necessary.
You say it's necessary, but
at the right times. At the right times.
So that a wrong change can
of course, no questions asked. But it's necessary because if wrong change, then you know, okay, let's never change that again. That's why change is necessary.
And then change back to the old form. So it doesn't work anymore.
So
right?
and then you're like, what do we have to change in between? So it's all about trial and error. Life is a trial. Life is like I can't even think of like a right analogy of what kind of trial and error. Life is like you have a padlock with like a number padlock and you do not know what the combination is and you're just going 001, no, 002, no. You just keep going there and maybe before you die you'll get to open it. But you don't know. Maybe you get one or two numbers and that's good with you.
Are we just too optimistic in life saying that, hey, maybe things will get better?
No, things will get...
I'm sorry. How should I phrase this? Or are we just too optimistic in life that we will find out what life is really about?
Huh? Would you like to rephrase that?
Okay, are we being too optimistic?
To a point that
we will find why we are here as human beings.
So that means is it possible to use our optimism to a point to discover the meaning of it? Like we're so positive about things as soon as that I personally feel optimism means a lack of clarity. Because there is the ignorance is bliss part. That's not a lie. When you try to be optimistic about something, you do ignore a few factors. Being pessimistic means you focus on everything. You focus on everything's failure. Optimism, that means you sort of like realize that some things are less important. Optimism will lead you to not needing the answer, I feel. If you live a positive life, you will not need to know why you live because you're already enjoying yourself. You don't need a reason for it.
Okay. I think that's a nice way to end the conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is a nice way to end the conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get me some heroin. Heroin.
Can I? All right. So, I think I shouldn't have broke the character. You know what?
You've been in character this whole time.
But change is a good thing.
My name is truly Antonio. I'm not Chinese. I'm actually Jewish.
All right. So yeah, thank you for doing this.
All right. Always happy. Thank you for having me.